Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So, in a bunch of my videos, you might have seen that I wear this. This is a Fitbit Versa 2, and it's a pretty cool little watch. Now, I ran into an issue the other day where essentially the face fell off. And if you've ever had that happen to you, then you know the kind of pains it is to maybe, try and figure out something real quick to do to save it. Otherwise, if it hasn't happened to you yet, if when you tap on your screen, you notice that it's got a new noise, so maybe it sounds a little bit different than it sounded before, that's going to be a pretty good sign that the seal's failing that holds that screen in, and sooner or later, you're going to look down, and this guy's going to be showing you the guts.
So let's get to what I used in order to fix it. And what I wound up doing is just taking the Fitbit here, putting it on a nice microfiber cloth. That way it helped protect my desk from getting messed up. And when I first noticed the face was falling off, I threw some Scotch tape on it real fast just to make sure it was nice and stayed in place. So that was a quick Band-Aid fix. But this Gorilla Glue super glue gel is what I was going to use to actually hold it in place. Besides the glue and the Fitbit, I also needed a few rubber bands to kind of hold the face on once everything's ready. My little pocket knife, I used to kind of scrape away some of the extra glue and stuff that was already in it, so like the factory black adhesive. And really, that's pretty much all you kind of need. You could probably do, instead of the pocket knife, if you had like a little screwdriver, pocket screwdriver, maybe like a jeweler's screwdriver, something nice and simple that you can kind of scrape with inside. And then the first step was essentially to go ahead and take my Fitbit and disconnect the wristband. So if you've never done that before, that little knob there just slides to the side and it should pop out. This is a aftermarket set of wristbands on this one. They tend to work pretty good too, but they just like the factory ones, just push them in, they should rock out. And by getting those off, it gives you a little bit more space to kind of deal with how small it is and give you a little bit better grip, because you've got to be able to maneuver around the watch surface pretty good with that glue. Here, you can kind of see that the face is lifted up a little. And that's what happened to me, is that essentially I looked down and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, something bad's happening. And it seemed like this side here, somehow the glue or the black adhesive, rubberized kind of coating and stuff like that that sealed this was breaking down. So on this side, it was like it was disintegrating and kind of gummy, so to speak. Whereas on the good side of it, the side that was still kind of stuck down, that side, it was like a nice solid kind of strip still and pulled off really easy. And then here's another kind of picture of the guts. You can kind of see some of the glue, the black glue is on the screen itself, and then it uses this ribbon to kind of connect between the face, and there's a connector down and below. Then here's another view. This is where I had already started to scrape and remove the glue along the edges. This little bit of glue on the edges here, I just kind of left. Essentially, what I needed to do was make sure that I had the work area protected from spills. So that's where the microfiber cloth came in. The nice thing with the microfiber cloth too is that you're able to wipe down the watch and get any kind of grease off the surface. That way you're looking at purely the surface of the watch. You're not looking at any kind of streaks or something like that. That way, when everything gets stuck together, if you've got a weird kind of streak in the side or something, maybe you accidentally smeared the glue, and you've got that little bit of time that you can kind of get rid of that super glue before it winds up hardening. And then this says clean and dry surfaces to be bonded, and to puncture, place cap and nozzle on the tube and tighten down. So all you have to do is just screw on that tube all the way down, and you're good to go. You'll feel it kind of pop as it goes through. And then apply a small amount of Gorilla Super Glue gel to one surface. Only 1 drop per square inch recommended. Set time may vary based upon amount of glue and type of surface glued. Excess glue can cause delayed or failed bond. And they have a really good example here of 1 square inch and the little drop they recommended. So once you get it glued in, it says press the 2 surfaces together for about 10 to 15 seconds, then wait 24 hours for a full cure. After using, clean the nozzle with a dry cloth and replace outer cap. store in a cool, dry place, store away from children and animals, because this is kind of like one of those super glues where it is a no joke kind of, you get a little bit on your fingers, squeeze your fingers together, and then you're kind of stuck together for a little bit kind of set. So you can see here, I was kind of trying to get the glue to flow through. So you got to give it a good squeeze first in order to get glue from like just the inside of the cap all the way through to the tip. And then this was just kind of practice trying to feed out how much pressure I can apply to it and how much comes out. I would definitely recommend doing that to at least practice a little bit. That way, when you actually go to glue it in, okay, it's going to pop out this way, or it's going to blow, maybe shift to the left, it'll shoot to the right. So no telling how it's going to come out until you kind of practice just a touch. Then you can see here, I've got this side, which is the easiest filming side. So I've got a glob of glue there, one there, one there, and one there. There's additional globs around the rest of it, but that ribbon cable is on this side. It's a little tough to do, so I put glue on this side first, and then kind of held the screen between my finger and like the main base part of it to keep it separate while I glued the easier part. And essentially, I'm not getting a solid bond all the way around, so this won't be the specific waterproof rating it had before. It may be a little waterproof, but I definitely wouldn't recommend submersing it. But if you're in a pinch, or you're like me, and really, I don't really go swimming with mine at all, so I'm just kind of taking the leap that, hey, I just want to make sure this face doesn't come off, maybe ever again. Now that I've got the glue on it, I wiped the face down with a microfiber towel just to make sure everything was nice and smooth. I did get a little bit come up and around on one of the edges, but I was able to clean that off and get it ready for the rubber bands pretty quick. And then I just wrapped the rubber bands around it, trying to avoid pushing down on that button. So I've got the rubber bands wrapped around it. Again, avoid putting on that button. Now, I don't know if there's anything weird where a long hold on that button causes any kind of factory resets or something like that. So that's why I didn't want to have the rubber band holding in that button down. And I know it said to leave this on for full cure at 24 hours. I only did it overnight. So essentially 6.5, maybe 8 hours. I don't remember how late it was I was doing this. I was just trying to get it slapped back together pretty quick. That way I could wear it the next day. Because there's nothing like going around your day-to-day business when you're used to having a watch and it not being there.
So far, the repairs lasted about 2 weeks. I have no issues. It's nice and tight. So, where before I used to get a little bit of a clunk when I double tap on it. And I think that was essentially just the glue and adhesive seal wearing down. But now, everything seems to be working fine. The crazy glue seems to be holding fine. I haven't had any issues. I've gotten it a little wet. I'm not daring enough to drop this into like a cup of water or something. Because I know that just doing the crazy glue around the edge the way I did isn't going to be a permanent seal. But I'm happy with where it's at. Haven't had any issues with it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll check you next time.